So continuing here, just to finish up on the motivation, the incentive that the government, okay, anybody working within the government, right? We're assuming city, county, state, federal, okay, and any quasi branches of the government thereof. They've got this incentive to manipulate the market because they get more money. It's as simple as that. The police can drive new cars, and I'm not opposed to any of that. You understand? But it's just this. This is the Robin Hood thing in action, and whose pockets is it coming out? It's coming out of the pockets of the poor. Okay, over and over. It's just they can afford it least. Who do you think is the casualties out there? People are struggling. We all know. Look at the statistics. It's like less than half the people in America have $1,000 in savings, and most of the people are living a paycheck away from homelessness. And this is what they sell as progress. I mean, we have to just say, my God, what the hell has gone on here? Enough's enough. We're over it. And we've got to confront the monsters. It's these top politicians. These people, find out who voted for that bailout in '08, because that was just another big fat nail in our coffin. This is how they're destroying us. This is how they're stealing the wealth of our nation. And these money printers, the Federal Reserve, say, look, that loan you made, you take that out of the backs of these the Congress and Senate. Whoever voted to approve that, to validate that, legitimize that debt back in '08, okay, what these reckless lenders did, okay, believing that, well, now we're socialized, now we're covered. They're going to privatize the profits, put them in our pockets, even though we knew we were blowing out the pipes of the economy. We were going to create all these foreclosures, home foreclosures by what we did. Bill Clinton allowing the Glass-Steagall Act, it's all interrelated with this whole problem. What happened in this takeover? It was a banking takeover. And the politicians, these politicos, these high-ranking politicos, the Senate and the Congress, isn't that the ones that validated this? And the Federal Reserve needed that. They couldn't act arbitrarily, unilaterally on their own. That they needed the Congress and Senate to approve this loan. No, it's between you. Then you Federal Reservists, you sue them. And FBI, get away. Stop protecting these people. Don't go after counterfeiters. Let them hire their own private security. Is the Federal Reserve even quasi-governmental? No, it's not. It's a private group of banksters, and I mean banksters with a capital B. Okay, these are gangsters is what they are. And these are the people we need to stay focused on if you want an end to all the problems. Remember, all the problems. They're poisoning us. Our food is being poisoned right on, and then we got the FDA out there. All the problems we have. They're not going to be putting poison in our food if somebody's not profiting from it. Why would they? You understand? It is incredibly insane, and we all have to just understand the insanity, the depths of the insanity, the profound nature of the insanity, the acuteness of the insanity. That these are the people that create the policies we live under. Everything is infected with our entire society, our entire civilization, our entire paradigm, our entire so-called reality is infected with this mentality of these evil, diabolical monsters and creeps. Demons is what they are. That's what they hate humanity. They openly write books. They want to get rid of the vast majority of people. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm telling you, wake up. And where this thing leads, anybody can see it can't work. It can't work like this. It just can't work. And in this day and age, I mean, with the knowledge of the ages at our fingertips, it's so much less acceptable, and it's so much more in our faces. These people are being openly exposed. That's very biblical, that the evildoers are being exposed for what they are. Okay? This is good. But, we the people have to start demanding some changes and not just saying, okay, now you've been exposed. Look at the rats. Look at them, running and hiding. And look, they're very dangerous because now they're cornered in this New World Order cabal. And now we got to worry about the European Union with Macron running France and what's her name, Angela Merkel right over there, the leader of Germany. Okay, what the hell's going on? It's very biblical. Look at it. It talks about these horns, 10 horns or whatever, and one had a fatal wound. I mean, and then you look at these nations of the European Union, what they're trying to do. It's a very Nazi Germany-like thing. Look, I'm not blaming the Germans, okay? It's just that for some reason that's where these piss ants got, their foothold. And remember, it's biblical, so what can you do with prophecy? It's just the way it is. So I'm not picking on Germany. I'm just saying, look, First World War, Second World War, and that's what Third World War is lined up. They're going to be in charge of all of it. And so, this is what's going on. This whole Armageddon and the Third World War and all this, the fears of nuclear exchanges and all this, it's all biblical. And it's all going to unfold like it's written in the Bible. And at the end of the day, the good guy prevails, just like always, and God's will is installed upon the earth. And at that time, it's going to look a lot different. And that's what I try to convince people to ready yourself for what that's going to be like. And it can help you here and now. It's very pragmatic. I have a lot of common sense. I have my sensibilities. I'm a down-to-earth kind of guy. I just don't give a crap about being rich in a world where frickin' poverty is increasing, and it's still entrenched with Satanism. I don't want it. I reject it, and I like to be that person. I insist on being that person. It doesn't mean, okay, that I am exempt from having to use money. No, I'm stuck in the same crap hole with everybody else. I got to comply to, to some degree to the beast system, right? And God understands. I mean, I'm trying to survive here. So God, but He knows our hearts. I don't have the beast tattooed on my hand or on my forehead, okay? And I'm not going to. I hate it. I absolutely despise the system. I can't stand it. And that's why Jesus said you must hate your life in this world to have everlasting life. Okay, but you'll never meet anybody that has more of a will to live. This is intriguing. This is exciting. That's me. I love life. It's interesting. I got a lot to live for, just like we all do if we sit and think about it for a minute. But I despise the system, man. It's unnatural. It's ungodly. It's unholy. It's evil. It's diabolical. It's satanic. It's this new world order. It's a theft of my wealth that belongs to me, and it belongs to you and him and her and all of us. Because God says so. You can't worry about what I'm doing for a living. You're going to get in excruciating minutiae. None of it makes any sense. Why people doing these frivolous jobs that don't matter at all? They're making all the money. I'm supposed to become a rapper maybe, or I'm supposed to become an actor, or I'm supposed to become, something else that, pays a lot of sports player, right? Big league sports player, and this is how you can make a lot of money, or you can do something else and, it's just money. But you see, the most important jobs people are being cheated. There's, it's unskilled labor. So you understand. So that's conforming perfectly to the mentality of these evil people that have been running the show for thousands of years. That's accepting regression. That's accepting that, crony capitalism's all right. It's still got capitalism in the world. I mean, I can't stand this. And I don't want to start naming names, but Alex Jones, I mean, look, not him himself, okay, but he gets reporters. But I think Alex Jones is a righteous dude. And anybody that hungers and thirsts for righteousness, I'm on their side. At the end of the day, I know they're egalitarian. They're not going to stop God's will from being installed on earth, nor do they want to. And me too. And that's the same with Trump. I mean, look, I trust him. And I trust he's a righteous dude, and that he's not going to try to stop God's will from being implemented upon the earth. And that has a lot. Remember, that's economics. We've got to be free. We've got to be economically free. This is what I'm talking about. How does that happen gradually? Okay, it's crony capitalism in reverse. It's true capitalism working. A rising tide of prosperity across the board. This is how you set the captives free. Absolutely free. So this is what we got to do. We got to just trust that people, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And the way Donald Trump is doing this, approaching this thing, he's doing it maybe like four-dimensional chess. He knows what he's doing, and I can't see what the hell he's doing, but I trust him. And I trust Alex Jones, and I trust most of his reporters, okay? They're good people that want the best, but they've got to get some understanding. Because when I hear Millie Weaver say, oh yeah, and the housing values are going up in this area because now they've legalized pot and all this. I think, my God, what is pot? What is such a big issue? People have been smoking pot since the beginning of time, and now but with laws and regulations and this and that and the next. I think, look, it's against the law to drive impaired, compromised on anything. Okay, so let's get that straight. One of the most dangerous drugs I ever ran across was these Benadryl. Okay. That you would take for a bee sting or something like that. But it can definitely make you fatigued and, fall asleep at the wheel so you shouldn't drive, but it's over the counter. As far as I know, a kid could go in and buy Benadryl. But, they'll check you for ID for a can of paint, right? For the graffiti thing and all that. Or maybe they're sniffing the paint. I don't know. But Understand that the system is insane, and it makes us all a little bit insane. So I'm not getting on anybody's case. But if people want high-priced neighborhoods where the houses are super nice, that's fine. So you want to play crony capitalism with the high-end property, I'm fine. And but the medium end and the low end, leave the low end alone, okay? We need help from the government, and because the government has caused our problems. Because people will say, well, let the homeless deal for themselves. Well, look, if you're going to allow homesteading again, that's fine. Okay, but that's what you've got to do. Then we have to have a conversation about exactly whose property is government property. What does the term government mean in the Constitution? It's we the people, not we some of the people. So it's got to work for everybody. So you can say, yes, get rid of Section 8 completely. But you've got to give people a chance to survive. They still need land to live on. So you've got to open up homesteading again. You've got to. You've got to open up government property to homesteading if you're going to do that. But if you want to keep, that's if you want to keep the system intact and dictate building codes and all this kind of crap. You say, yeah, but those are health and safety things. What is dying out on the street? Isn't that a health and safety issue? Okay, so if you're going to say, oh, it's okay that all these people and more keep falling through the cracks in the social welfare system, even though we're feeding, Section 8 and HUD and Housing Authority $50 billion a year, it's okay that the problem's getting worse. Just look the other way. Just focus on old number one. Don't worry about other people's problems. That's a cop-out. You're just trying to escape from facing your own problems. I've heard it all. I know how people think. I know they rationalize stuff because they themselves are involved in this system, and it's been working for them. It's been working for a lot of people, and it's about time it stopped working. People start getting it and saying, look, it was the government. Why is the government responsible? Because they allowed. Aren't the Congress and Senate part of the government? Then who signed off on it? Who's allowed the poverty to explode, the wealth and income gap to explode? Who's allowed all these home foreclosures, that bailout of '08? Who has allowed this thing to happen? It's the government. It's these politicians, so the government is responsible. They need to be held accountable. If they want to have the same, they want that authority that they sign off on these loans and stuff, then they need to be held accountable. It's as simple as that. They're responsible. It's their fault. That's why we got to hold their feet to the fire and demand justice. Okay, so let me be very clear, man. I know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to social economic matters. So if Alex Jones, you ever want to have me on and you think you got the cojones, man, to have a guy like me on your show, because I know I'm an enigma. I know I'm different. I know I think way outside the box. But I'm studied in economics, and I have read some of the greats, okay, and I know what the hell I'm talking about. I know what every nation's single greatest asset is. I'm on the same page with Adam Smith. Okay, let's be honest with ourselves. And you see it's labor, often common, uneducated labor. That is every nation's single greatest asset. Because anything and everything can get done if you've got a willing workforce. Conversely, nothing, absolutely nothing can get done if you do not have a willing workforce. So you can have all the capital in the world. You could be sitting on a mountain of money. Okay, but if people aren't willing to do what you tell them to, it's not going to get done. Okay, what you want. So just remember that. Let's be honest. This is the same story for all these third world countries, all the problems they're having in Central and South America and in Europe, all over the world, in the Middle East. It's all economically related. And it's unnecessary. It's absolutely invented, created, artificial suffering. And it all involves economics. There's plenty of stuff. Nobody on the face of the earth has to go hungry or homeless or without drinkable water. That's a matter of fact. You can't prove me wrong because every statistic you check is going to prove me right. California itself can grow enough food to feed the entire planet. And we also take care of 1/10 of the nation's population. Yes, over 1/10 of Americans are Californians. 1 out of 10 people, do you understand what that means? Are Californians. And we could still grow enough food to feed the entire planet right here in this state. So all this nonsense about overpopulation and how we got to have all these desperately poor people and it's all about money. We're out of money. Who's going to pay? This is their answer, right? They sicken me. They're repugnant, repulsive. I can't stand anybody that even prescribes to that mentality a little bit. You disgust me. You're unholy. You're ungodly. Your thinking and your thought system, your belief system, your philosophy is unconscionable. And you need to repent or perish. You're going to answer to God, not to me, not to any other human being, but you will stand one-on-one someday, and God's not going to buy a lot of rationalization and psychobabble in your head, my head, or anybody else's head. Let's be very clear. Okay, God's will is going to be done, and you can fight and kick and scream and say, "Oh no, it's not. You lack common sense, and you're out there, man. You're out there in space, man. Be pragmatic. Be practical. Okay, get down to earth, man." And then you're going to think like us, and you're going to conform, and you're just going to go out and find your little niche, and you're just going to make your money, and that's the way it's going to be, man. But things are going to get worse and worse, and if you